But, like I say, it brings me great pleasure to have the Universidad of Pan America join us today. And we're now going to have a fairly relaxed, informal student session, an opportunity for students to engage with industry, and industry, equally importantly, to engage with the students. So I'd like to invite someone who's so old that they can't remember her when they were a student, back to the stage, Chris Ludwig.
I mean, actually, I was going to say, for once, it's nice to be amongst some contemporaries, because usually I just get to hang out with old guys like Chris Stiles and stuff. So it's great that he brought, some of his younger team along to show all the promise. And then we obviously now, with students in the room, want to use this opportunity to share. So I'm not going to stand up here and lecture because, I'm not a student, obviously. But I thought maybe what we mainly want to do is give you guys a chance to interact. But before we kind of let you network in that way, I kind of was hoping to draw on some of the input of people in the room in the industry that they might share with the students in terms of choosing this career path or why they might choose this career path. And since you've just gone and taken their mics off, I was going to use that, but anyway, I've got one, so that's not a problem. So I thought what I might start with, because our panel, we've just gotten so much out of them, can I ask you guys to share a little bit about how you came into this career, from studying and to join this in Nissan or the automotive logistics and packaging, a little bit of why you chose it and how it happened, and just to kind of illuminate our students.
Okay, well, the way how I get in the logistics was a really fun way, because at the first I didn't know what logistics mean. So once that you begin to work in logistics, you know that it will, or you love the logistics, or you hate it. So in my case, I almost 7 years on it, and I love the logistics. Why? Because you always, all your field is changing. So you need to be more innovation. You need to change everything that you already know. So that's the way how I could say that part of.
So I have 5 years in the company. I started at Nissan, I was internships. I don't know how I got there, but I remember I did an approved packaging and logistics at the university, and now guess I can give classes there if I get fired or something like that. But I guess the big challenges of being in logistics is the best opportunity for my point of view. Why? Because when we have meetings with people from plant, the word that they always tell us, you logistics are the head, production plan, the hands. Just tell me what to do. So that makes me keep improving, keep searching more stuff, keep investigating about the logistics, supply chains, and stuff like that. So I guess I liked it. Like, I guess I can be in the inbound team when he hires me.
Well, sorry for Spanish.
Yeah, no, please.
But para mí,
Well, to me, starting with Nissan was a dream, because this is a company where I wanted to work since I was in the university. So I've been in the company for 7 years. And honestly, some days logistics can be tiresome, and some other days it's very good. But in Nissan Logistics, I honestly had a challenge, because you have to change all the time. You're always challenged to improve yourself. You receive a lot of training, many courses, because our director is a person who likes to improve not only operations, but to improve people under his charge. So many years. These have been many years of opportunity where we have been improving, and it's been very useful to have all that training and all the areas of opportunity that they detected in us. And this is a motivation to give your best every day, to be always changing, innovating, to look for continuous improvement in all your operations, and to always give your best, your top, your tops, because you want to improve everything you have in front of you. I feel like you as students have a lot of opportunities in front of you because you have your eyes wide open. You come from learning many things that we probably didn't have the opportunity to learn in college, but that could change, that could deeply change the operations where you're going to work. Logistics, and I'll repeat myself, is the area that should have, in my perspective, the most changes. What has been hard for me as a supervisor? Well, previously, generations would only look for, when they started working, look for a safe place, a quiet environment to develop themselves and to grow. And now generations are changing. They sometimes do not want things that are as concrete or as stable. They want to be in constant changes. This is how our generation is. And this is also a challenge. When you start working, when you manage to grow inside a company, you have a lot of people under your charge, and you are not only concerned in improving operations and a working environment, but you have to become some kind of psychologist who has to detect all the abilities and weaknesses in the people around you, and you as a leader of that team, you can change their mindset. You can take all the skills they have to improve their own person and to improve the company, and all the areas of opportunity can be turned into positive things instead of being a defect. They can actually become areas of opportunity, and that can change many things in their heads.
She lit the room, actually. It was amazing. The lights.
Well, I'm going to speak in Spanish just to be more clear. En mi caso, la verdad.
Case, I actually graduated from a completely different area than industrial engineering or something related to logistics. My difference here was that I was deeply inclined to this area. This was something I was interested in, and in some way or another, I got the opportunity to start with Nissan. And as my colleagues already mentioned, we have had many opportunities of growing professionally and personally as well. And well, I think that the most important thing in my case is that the the subject of logistics is something I'm very passionate about. I like packaging very much, and the fact that logistics in any company is as challenging, that it just poses challenges for you every day to improve your own performance day after day. And I think this is something that has helped me personally to identify that this is the area that I love. And what Tara just mentioned is extremely important. The fact that that every generation changes and that now we have a different mindset. I think that at some point, if you like what you're doing and if you have the ability of taking up responsibilities and to become fully accountable for what you're doing, you can you can get good results, and you can also feel part of the company you're working for. It's always going to be difficult or complicated to adapt from college to work because sometimes you're already working and you want to go back to become a student. But it's important to be aware, for you to be aware as college men and women, that this is something that is worth your while. That's going to be hard, but we have to be there not only trying to improve our environment, but we even want our colleagues to be able to help us get more experience and to actually become a part of a company per se.
Much. All fantastic insights, I think. Obviously, I want to give the students opportunities to ask questions. To give you a sense of who's in the room, I mean, just from where I'm sitting, I can see BMW, GM, obviously, Nissan is here. There's tier suppliers, lots of logistics providers, international and Mexican equipment and IT companies. So I'm happy to pick on them for you. I will, or I'll make them stand up. I can see. I might actually do that right now. Here is Dr. Koch from BMW, San Luis Potosí plant, which is ramping up production. So there you have a startup OEM, at least in Mexico. You may want to ask Dr. Koch a question about, logistics careers and paths at BMW, or what sort of skills BMW is looking for. We have plenty of other companies here as well. I see Tim from Penske, who I know is always great to answer this question. So let's start with where did I put them? So why don't you tell us a little bit, Dr. Koch?
Buenos dias. So maybe before you ask questions, I want to say felicidades. It was really a great presentation and good work. And I want to reinforce these things you are doing are very important for us OEMs, and you have a lot of future on these topics in the upcoming years. So ongoing. Now I'm open also for questions.
That's me, sorry. I'm sorry. Well, why don't you start by talking a little bit about kind of how your approach to hiring talent and developing talent for logistics with the new plant. Maybe we can start from there. What kind of skills and talents are you looking for? And then maybe if the students then have questions, we can give them the mic.
Okay. Within logistics, we have departments for program planning, production control. That's a little bit outside. We have a department for material control that is operationally responsible for getting the material worldwide in. We have logistics planning, that is the things you're doing. We have physical logistics, and we have distribution of finished vehicles. So overall, that's our organization. If we come into the point you're working in and logistics planning, we have in the major 3 facilities. The one are the projects within the launch. The second are 2 planning groups, one for supply chain planning and packaging planning, really with the same topics like you do. And the third group with regard to line side provision, so planning of the logistics within the assembly area within the warehouse. We started with 4, 5 in logistics planning with 4, 5 experts, where we got specialists from Germany, from the US over, leading the topic. And then we were looking for young talents here from the universities with use cases really like you did. And we get very good people, got into the job, got very good ideas, and just want to encourage you, keep on going. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of requirement in the OEMs in the future. And it will never get boring.
So does any of the students have any questions they'd like to ask to really, like I said, I'll make sure someone in the audience answers. It could be Dr. Koch, who already has the mic, or it could be someone else. It's an open forum. You don't have to do it publicly if you don't want. We'll make sure there's a private round for you. But and of course the question can be in Spanish. Of course it can be in Spanish or English.
Por supuesto.
Does any of the students want to ask any question? I understand sometimes it takes a little while to get going. I probably just woke up a half an hour ago, right? So maybe I can turn to a logistics provider. Tim, can I pick on you from Penske? Talk a little bit about some of the things from a third-party logistics provider point of view you're looking for in your talent.
Hola, buenos dias. Me llamo Tim Flute. That's the end of my Spanish. I work for Penske Logistics. I've been with the company for 17 years. I've worked in automotive my entire career. And the reason I chose to work in automotive is because it's the world's greatest industry. It's also the world's most high-tech industry. That may come as a shock to you. But if you look at how many millions of lines of code are in a lot of the programs that you know, or for example, if you think of an F-22 fighter jet, that's about 25 million lines of code. If you look at a BMW 3 Series, you're talking 100 million lines of code. So a much more complicated object. I also chose to work in the industry because of the people. The industry has given me the opportunity to travel the world. I've been to Europe, spent an interesting week in Romania, in Brod, which is the home place of Vlad the Impaler, who Dracula was based on, so you can imagine that was a fun trip. I've been to South America, all over Europe, all over North America, spent a great deal of time in Mexico, but I've made friends that have lasted for years. Chris Stiles from Nissan, we've known each other for 25 years now. Senor Lopez from Ford, I've known him for, excuse me, I've known him for 20 years. He was very kind to me when I started in the industry and took it very easy on me because I was young and dumb, but I thought I knew everything. Christiana Meyer, a colleague of mine who I've known for, again, almost 25 years. She started when she was 3, of course. And it's just a wonderful industry. You meet people like Christopher Ludwig who help broaden your horizons and talk to you about different things. But if you're considering a career choice, logistics is never boring. It's rarely the same thing. And it's rarely in the same place. You face different problems every day. So as a representative of the last generation, let me give you some presents. I'm going to give you global climate change. Say thank you. Because if there's not a problem, we don't need a solution. You guys need something to work on. The generation before me left smallpox, influenza, hunger, lack of transportation. Those are all things that we were able to help solve. We created solutions. Problems are a good thing because problems require something different. So that's the opportunity for you to build your career, the opportunity for you to make a change to the environment, to the world. So I truly believe automotive is the greatest industry, and I believe that it's going to give you a wonderful opportunity to change the world, advance your career, and form wonderful relationships. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. I think that's a good sentiment, and I think one of the things we've heard way too little about the last 2 days, to some extent, was sustainability and contracting climate change and the role that logistics and supply chains can change in that. So I think Tim does speak for many of us here when the hope is on many of you students to help lead that and to help us change because we have a long way to go. Since Rafael was mentioned, I'm going to go this side of the room. And Rafael Lopez, who had worked for Tier Suppliers, worked for Ford, and is now, I believe, you can tell us about the new manufacturing company you're working for. And maybe you can share some perspectives as well with our students.
Well, I think all the insights that have been shared by the other colleagues are very good for you. I think it's a very good initiative for automotive logistics and the University Panamericana to bring you here to this forum. Really is something that I couldn't do when I was studying. Obviously, there were other times, and there was not the opportunity for the students to be very close of the real life, of the real world. You have this opportunity, take advantage of this. My experience in logistics, I learned logistics 14 years ago. I have been working always for manufacturing in all the areas of manufacturing. I am industrial engineering, and once I got a plant, I was a plant manager. I was transferred by the company to direct the logistic department. The first question that I made to my boss at that point of time, and I did to myself, is what I am going to do here, because I know how to make cars, I know how to produce parts, but I don't know what do I need to do here in this position. One of the advantages working for logistic, I think, is that in my personal case, I know the manufacturing process inside the facility, inside the four walls. Once you handle logistics, it gives you the opportunity to interact with many parties, as Ludwig said, with IT companies, with the customers, with providers, with customs office, with the government, with other colleagues. I think this is amazing to work for logistics. I would recommend if you want to be or to round your professional background, some people that is in manufacturing should be at one time in logistics. Also, it's very good at the point of time that I began to handle logistics, there were no career in the university about logistics. That's another great step that, for instance, Tecnológico de Monterrey, Universidad Panamericana have given to move forward in improving in the logistic. I don't know if you have any question.
What we're going to do in a moment, actually, is sort of take it offline and bring the students, give them a chance to kind of talk privately with people. Maybe before we do that, does anybody else want to share anything? Jenny, any advice for the students? Because what I'm going to do then, well, shortly in a moment, because there's something else I want to do first, or something else our team Nissan wants to do first, is I'm going to ask anyone who's sort of willing to share some advice and have conversations with the students to sort of come forward and sort of stand in the front of the room. This way, if the students would like to come and chat, we can do that so we can actually be in the room and have a bit of an informal networking before we go to lunch. I don't want everyone to just run and go to lunch. Let's sort of bring everyone together a little bit. But before we do that, I think it's the most appropriate millennial request that I've heard, given the age of what we're talking about, the students and also our team Nissan. I believe you would like a selfie with the entire room. Yes, so we're going to do a room-wide selfie. I have no idea how that will work, but you, I'm sure, have a master plan for how it works. Great. So do you need to do it from the stage? And we're going to, yes, okay, so we're going to do this selfie together, which is a good icebreaker, I think. So you tell us what we need to do, which I assume is just sort of sit there, but anyway.
Our apologies, it's our very first time, so we needed to have some memories. So if everyone please stand up and put a little bit together, all in the middle, if possible. We have the new iPhone, so picture will be good for everyone.
We'll make sure that we share the selfie with the group.
Sure.
Yeah. And our students as well, please stand up and come forward. Yeah. So we need everybody a little bit closer in, just direct us.
Pull in the back.
Yeah. Come forward. With my large hands, I would love to. With my long arms, yes.
So I guess is everyone ready?
It's the young ones up front, that's it, right? So, yeah. So, you guys all in it? Should we get everyone doing a thumbs up? Okay. Should we thumbs up or something? Yeah.
One.
Thumbs up.
2,
1.
3.
Selfie. One again.
Good.
All right.
Thank you.
Excellent. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well done.
It was just an icebreaker for everyone.
Yeah, it's a great icebreaker. So, like I said, if anyone who's kind of happy to share some time with our students can sort of just stay in the front of the room, stand up, everyone can meet and greet and a bit.